So me and Audrey are just getting ready to make, do you want to tell them what we're making?
Cookies.
What kind of cookies? Do you remember? Sugar cookies. Yeah. Audrey wanted to bake today, and so we decided that. I found these, I had these in the freezer that I had picked up. Actually, and, what? We're making
Christmas cookies.
Christmas cookies, yeah. So anyway, on the back of this bag, there is a, they're called holiday cream cheese sugar cookies. So we're going to follow this recipe and make these here cookies. So we'll see how they turn out. Audrey's pretty excited. She wanted to do some baking. I can't believe it, but she's going to be able to go back to school next week. Her 6 weeks recovery time is just about up. So we're trying to sneak in a couple of fun things before she goes back to school.
Yes, sirree.
Yes, sirree. So in our bowl there we have, well, how much flour do we have, Audrey? 2 1/4 cups of flour. Audrey's going to add 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. In our bowl we have 1/2 cup of softened cream cheese. I had to cheat a little bit and put mine in the microwave because I forgot to take it out in time. So we have that, so we beat that till it's smooth. And we're just softening our butter in the microwave because we didn't take that out in time either. And we're going to add 1 cup of butter to our cream cheese. Okay, Audrey, go with the butter.
That's heavy.
Is it? Do you want me to take it? Or do you got it? Okay, you can add that in there.
Nope.
Oh, you can just like that.
Nope.
Boop. Okay, I'll get you the you get the spatula. So we mixed our cream cheese, our 1 cup of butter, and we mixed that until they were uniform, it said, and then we just added 3/4 cup of sugar. We've added 1/4 cup of brown sugar and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So now we're going to beat this. It's all mixed up. It said to mix it until creamy, and now we are going to add our flour mixture. Now Audrey, you're going to have to add that very carefully. Yep. Try to get it all in the bowl. Good job. And then we're going to beat this until smooth.
Ooh, that was hard.
What?
It hurt my hand.
Did you? Everything is all mixed up, and now it says to roll them into tablespoon-sized bowls. So we're going to use our cookie scoop for that. I'm going to do the balls, and Audrey is going to roll them in the sugar. She's just washing her hands, so I'm just waiting for her to come back, and we'll get them rolled and sugared and get them in the oven. They're all rolled, and Audrey's rolling them in the sugar. That's probably good. There, we tried to cram them all on this cookie sheet. So then we're going to bake these at 350 for, I think it said like 10 to 12 minutes, but I feel like ours might take a little bit longer because I think they're a little bit bigger. And then it says when they come out and they're still warm, you press the little,
Stoppings.
Yeah.
Sprinkles.
When they come out of the oven while they're still warm, you press the little toppings in them.
Like this. Sugar.
Cookies are just out of the oven. I cooked these for 15 minutes, and Audrey is just going to push some of the little, so we have Christmas trees and little Christmas socks. You don't need to push them in too hard, Audrey, just kind of, I guess you do need to push them in a little bit to get them to kind of.
I have a sock on my plate. I guess my sock.
So Audrey's going to do that, so you can push them all in, Audrey.
Like that?
Yep.
And Christmas tree.
I am just getting ready to make some sweet and sour meatballs for supper, and when I mentioned that in my grocery haul video there a little while back, people had asked if I would share that recipe, so I'm going to share it with you today. It's really nothing fancy or special, it's just a basic recipe, but I have some medium ground beef in my bowl here. I'm going to add some Italian flavored breadcrumbs. I have an onion that I'm going to chop up, or 1/2 of an onion, but it was a big one, so there's that. I'm using blended cream, or you could use milk. And I just have some salt, pepper, and some garlic powder, and some onion powder. And that's all. I'm going to get it mixed in my bowl. I'm going to roll them up. And I'm going to bake them in the oven, and then I'll make my sauce. Hey, I forgot to mention that you also need an egg for this recipe. So I'm going to dump my egg in there. I have my onion all chopped. And I'm going to get that in there. I used my chopper the last time I chopped onions. My eyes burned so much and teared up. I couldn't even see. I don't think it's normal how bad my eyes get from onions. I'm going to add, I don't measure anything when I make meatballs, but I'm going to add, actually that's a lot of onion that I put in there. I'm going to put maybe a half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of breadcrumbs, salt, pepper, some garlic powder, and even though I just put a ton of onions in there, I'm going to add a little bit of onion powder. Oh, mine's a little... And my cream, or you can add milk. Alright, so I'm going to get this mixed up. I have my cookie sheet beside me lined with foil, and I have my oven preheating at 400, and I always wear gloves when I'm making meatballs because if I have to like tend to the kids in a hurry, I can just take the gloves off faster than I can scrub all the meat off my hands, especially when you have to get, you know, really in there to mix it up. So I'm going to put this on, put the camera on pause while I mix this up, and I'll be back. There's all my meatballs. They're all rolled out, and I'm going to put them in the oven at 400 degrees. Emily wants out of her high chair. She was playing Play-Doh, but she's done. I made these a little bit bigger than I normally do just because it's getting a little bit late and I was trying to do it fast. But we're going to bake these for about 18 to 20 minutes. And while they're baking, I'm going to get my rice in the rice cooker. And I'm going to get started on my sauce. So we always like to have our meatballs with rice. So I'm just getting some brown rice going in my rice cooker. I never know exactly how much rice to make because if I make a lot, I find that it's left over. And if I make a little bit less, then people are always looking for seconds. So I'm going to get this going while the meatballs are in the oven. What are you doing sitting there? I just looked over. Oh, careful. You don't fall. She was just sitting there dangling her legs and swinging her legs. You love shoes, don't you? Shoes and slippers. Are you wearing Audrey slippers?
No, it's
Yeah, shoes. She's getting so big. How do I ignore the mess in my kitchen? Don't I always say that? I always ignore the mess in my kitchen. I'm going to get started on my sauce now, so I'm just going to grab a pot, and the sauce is really simple too. Alright, so this sauce is really simple too. I'm trying to do this one-handed. I have Emily on my hip here. She is looking for snacks, and if she eats now, she won't want to eat supper. So I have 1 cup of water in my pot. I'm going to add a half a cup of white vinegar. Okay, so 1 cup of water. I put in my half a cup of vinegar. You're going to put in a half a cup of ketchup. I'm going to scrape the rest of that out in 1 second. I just don't have 2 hands. And now we're going to do, it calls for a cup of brown sugar. This is a 1/4 cup. I usually try and do just a little bit less. I think that was 3. And then 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, if you can see. I'm not going to measure this because I only have 1 hand. I'm going to heat this on the stove, and then we're also going to add a little bit of cornstarch just to thicken it up. I will leave the actual recipe for the sauce in the description box. You can add more soy sauce to cut down on the sweetness. I just try and add a little bit less sugar. I find a 1 cup of sugar a lot. So I'm going to get this on the stove. I'm going to scrape with this a little bit of ketchup that's in my measuring cup. And get this simmering on the stove and get my cornstarch in there. I'm going to bring my sauce to a boil. I have my cornstarch mixture here, so it's just about 2, I don't measure any of this either, but it's about 2 teaspoons of cornstarch and 2 teaspoons of water. I think I have more than that in there. You're going to mix that, and then I'm going to add that to my sauce here to get it thick. And then once my meatballs come out of the oven, I will put them in a dish and pour the sauce over them, and I'll just bake them in the oven for maybe about 20 minutes. What are you doing, Emily? Uh-oh. That is how my sauce is looking. I would stir it for you, but I only have 1 hand. Actually, I will try. It's thickened up there. I don't know if it looks thick on camera or not. If you could see how I'm trying to balance my camera and Emily. But anyway, it will kind of get darker in color and thicken up once you add that cornstarch and water. So my meatballs are done. The timer just went on the stove there. I'm going to get my meatballs out of the oven and pour my sauce over them, and then I'm just going to pop them back in the oven for a little bit. There's our meatballs. Oh, they're looking good. I love meatballs. They're smelling good. They're looking good. I'm going to take these off of this sheet and put them on a piece of paper towel just to get a little bit of the grease off of them before I put them in the dish with the sauce. I've drained, or, you know, kind of got some of the grease off of the meatballs. I have them in my dish, and I just have the sauce poured over them, and I'll kind of move them around a little bit to make sure that the sauce is covering all of the meatballs. So I'm going to cover them and put them in the oven at 350 degrees for, the meatballs are cooked, so maybe just about 15 minutes or 20 minutes. And just for the record, I'm outside. I know it's really dark out here. You probably can't even see. The boys are still on the trampoline. Are you guys still out there?
What?
Are you guys still out there?
What?
I said, are you still out there?
Yeah.
I can't even see you. Somebody's having a fire over there, though. They've just been out there. It's 5 o'clock, and they've been on that literally since they came home from school. So this is how supper is looking. So we're having our brown rice, our meatballs, and I just did some green beans as an easy side. So me and Emily are heading out this morning, and I had some ground beef in my fridge that was left over from a recipe from the other night. This isn't looking like very much right now, but I thought I would make some taco soup. So I just looked up a recipe on Pinterest for it. I've never made it before, but it seems very similar to chili. I was going to make chili, and I thought, oh, I think I'll make taco soup just for something different. So in my crock pot, I have maybe a pound of ground beef that I had cooked up the other day with some onion in it, and I added about 3 cups of just some beef broth. And what else did I add in there? a jar of, it actually called for a can of crushed tomatoes, but I just put in a can of pasta sauce. So I'm going to add 1 can of black beans. So these are rinsed and drained. And I'm just going to let this cook low most of the day. A can of red kidney beans that are rinsed and drained. Okay, I'm also adding a can of corn. I'm hoping I don't regret this, the corn. But anyway, in it goes. Give that a mix. You could definitely use just taco seasoning, I'm assuming, for like your spices, but I'm going to use the spices that this recipe calls for. So I need to get my measuring spoons out. It calls for 1 tablespoon of chili powder. It also calls for a can of green chilies, but I don't have those. 2 teaspoons of cumin. I love cumin, so I'm going to be a little generous with mine. Woody, 1 teaspoon of oregano. Emily is just in her seat. She just finished her breakfast. I will get her a snack so she doesn't drive you guys crazy. A teaspoon of dried oregano. Garlic powder. I really need to get some new spice jars. Some garlic powder. A teaspoon of onion powder. Like I said, you could just use taco seasoning, but I'm going to try the recipe how it's actually, you know, the spices that it actually calls for. Salt, pepper, and then cayenne pepper to taste. So I'm going to do some pepper in there. And I'm not going to do very much cayenne pepper because Jacob likes things spicy, but the other 3, definitely do not. And some salt. And I think I have some frozen peppers in the freezer. Alright, so I just gave Emily an orange, so she should be a little bit quieter. I have these a little bit of frozen red peppers that I'm just going to throw those in there. Everybody has been so sick here the whole month of December. I'm sorry that I haven't had many videos out. It's just been a crazy month to feel the sickness. It came into our house and it won't leave. It's still, Dave's kind of battling it now. I have all that mixed in there. I'm going to just put a smidge of cayenne pepper in there. Not much at all, just a little sprinkle. And I think that's pretty well it. And I'm going to serve this with, I'm going to cook this on low. It's only 9:02 a.m. here, so you can even make this up the night before and just stick, you know, the crock pot bowl in your fridge and pull it out in the morning and let it simmer in there. I'm just going to double check the recipe that make sure that I didn't miss anything. Black beans, chili beans, oregano, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper. Alright, so I'm going to get this going on low in my crock pot. I guess I better plug it in first. Emily's telling Daisy to go. Is Daisy trying to get your orange? 6. Low. There. We will have a nice hearty supper. Come supper time, like I said, me and Emily are heading out. We're going to go and visit Dave's grandparents for a little bit, so I just thought that will be done. I have laundry going, and then when I come home, you know, the soup will be done, and I'll just have to grate some cheese, and I have some sour cream and some chips, so it sounds like a good supper. So anyway, I'll see you back here after a bit. So this is how the hamburger soup turned out. I tasted it and actually tastes really good. And so I topped mine with some sour cream and some cheese, and then we're just going to have some chips with it. Well, I'm going to end this video here before it gets too long. Oops. I hope you enjoyed seeing just a little bit of what we've been doing in the kitchen. You be careful you don't fall. I hope you enjoyed seeing just a little bit of what I've been doing in the kitchen this week. The sweet and sour meatballs are always a really big hit here. I will include the recipe down below. The taco soup was really good too. Everybody really liked that, so I will print that recipe out, or I will try and link it. It's just a recipe from Pinterest. I'm sorry that I haven't had as many videos out for you lately. We've just been all battling so much sickness here the whole month of December. We are finally on the mend now. Dave is just still struggling with a really bad cough that he just can't seem to get rid of. But I'm hoping that that is the end of the sickness and nobody gets sick until at least after Christmas. I'm hoping that we can at least be healthy for Christmas. So anyway, I am hoping to do some Christmas baking here soon, and I plan to share some of that with you. So stick around for that. And I haven't been doing as many lunch videos lately. I was just kind of taking a break from it. Sometimes it gets hectic in the mornings trying to do a lunch video every morning, and sometimes the kids get a little bit tired of it too. So I'm just kind of taking a little break from that, and they'll be on Christmas vacation soon anyway. But I mean, I will do more of them in the new year. I just haven't been doing them. I didn't do it the week that I was sick, and I just kind of took a little break after that. But anyway, I'm hoping to have some Christmas content coming your way, a baking video anyway, and I'm not sure what else because I'm just not that organized. But anyway, this ending is getting long, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed these recipes. What? I always appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos, and so thank you for that, and I'll see you next time. I'll say bye. You got a runny nose?